Hello there everybody and welcome back to SOMA. In the last video we got a bit of an introduction to the game and we met Simon, who is our main protagonist. We moved from our apartment over to the office where we're supposed to be getting a brain scan done, but it looks pretty barren, so we're trying to hunt down Dr. Munchie at the moment. So if you try to go through this door, you'll notice that there is a keypad, and so we need to find the combination. There's a small office here, and there's a couple of things that you can look at. We'll start with this laptop here. And the few things in the inbox are actually about us. So this appears to be Mr. Munchie and his associate Paul talking about doing the brain scanning. So it seems like they're pretty new to this whole brain scanning thing, so it's quite possible that we're one of their kind of newer patients, or maybe one of their first patients, who knows. So today is the 2nd of May, according to the computer, and this email was sent on the 27th of April about the doctor sending us over for a brain scan. So this is all happening fairly recently. It seems like they kind of got our hands on us pretty quickly, and they're working pretty diligently to help us. And you can see that there's an email that was done today, actually, from Dr. Munchie to Paul. We've got a few hours. I got a hold of Simon Jarrett. Let's do this. Alright. Well, I'm here for the scan, and I don't see either of you. Now, if you want a clue to the code, you can see that we're supposed to be finding the code somewhere else, not on the laptop. I'm not allowed to repeat the code in mails or texts, but I'll leave a note or something in case we forget. So just a little bit more kind of backstory there, if you're interested. If you open the bottom drawer, I don't think there's really anything in there. What about the middle drawer? Yeah, so in the middle drawer here, you'll see this is kind of the trial basis thing that it looks like we're going to be putting ourselves through. This is kind of the research and the work that Paul and Dr. Munchie are doing. So I don't know if we've really agreed to this thing that they're doing by putting a computer in our brains per se, but we are kind of getting our brains scanned at least to see what kind of damage that we're doing. So Mr. Berg appears to be a graduate student in neurosciences in Toronto, and his colleague is David Munchie, who's a student of computer science. I'm a little concerned that he wants to do, hands-on brain stuff, and he's not even a neuroscientist, but I guess that they're probably maybe fresh out of college or something like that. And if you flip the document over, you can actually see the both of them back here. There's their picture. And if you want to read it, of course, you can just zoom in using right trigger. And you can do it on both sides of the document. I'm not going to take the time to read all of this stuff, but if you want to pause, you can definitely do that. I'll leave the text up for a little while there for everybody to read. Again, just a little bit of backstory. So that's just in the middle drawer, and in the top drawer is actually where we're going to find the code in this little notebook here. So there's a lot of stuff on here that doesn't really make a lot of sense, but he's actually scribbled the code on the bottom of the paper there, 2501. And that's really all there is for this area. There's nothing to see, obviously. As you can see, it just looks like they've maybe started to take over the area, but they haven't quite gotten around to settling in yet. So I hope he's here. Put that code in, we'll open up the door, and we'll get the tutorial that tells us how to run. So you can run in this game, thank goodness. It speeds things up quite a bit. And there's not really a lot to look at in this area because a lot of these doors are closed. There's a door open here on the right-hand side, and we can see some things on these screens, and there's a couple things we can look at, but there's not really anything that we can really interact with. So I think it just gives you a good idea of them just sort of setting up. It kind of paints the scene for these two guys that are starting to set up this business or this thesis or whatever it is you want to call it that they're working on with the repairing the brain and whatnot. And if you open this last door, here we go. We found him. Dr. Munchie.
Oh, hi. Didn't hear you come in. Simon Jarrett, right?
Dr. Munchie?
Well, it's just Mr. Munchie, but I'm working on it. Actually, you're helping me right now.
Is this part of your thesis work?
Yeah, it's a study I'm doing with my colleague Paul Berg. We hope to design a gentle way to work with brain reconstruction to help people like you. Oh, did you take the tracer fluid?
Yes. Yes, I did.
Great. Well, we can start whenever you're ready.
I don't know how I feel about this. There's an awful lot of wires and computers and all this sort of stuff going on, but I guess we don't really have much of a choice. We just have to sort of trust him and go along with it.
Please,
so here goes nothing. I hope you're competent, sir.
All right, let me just get this out of the way. You are Simon Jarrett, correct?
Right.
Toronto, Canada, Munchie. Born 1988, July 16.
Right.
Flat neurograph, version 6. Good. All files in order.
Will this hurt?
It's just a scan. It'll hurt about as much as getting your picture taken.
Indians thought cameras would steal their souls.
Is that so? Well, let's hope they're wrong. Ready? Say cheese.
What happened?
Oh dear.
Hello? Mr. Munchie? Did something go wrong?
This doesn't look good. Is that blood on the floor? Or is that just a shadow? That
This isn't funny.
definitely looks like blood. Hopefully not our blood.
I'm not supposed to put myself in...
Let's turn on the lights. Hopefully this will work. There we go. A little bit of light in here.
What the hell is this place? How did I get here?
No idea where the hell this place is or how I got here, but I do feel a bit better about the lights being on at the very least. So we're going to be coming back to this room a little bit later, but there's not really a whole lot that we can do at the moment. You're going to want to remember this Omni-Tool chip installer service console area, because we're going to need to come back here once we find the Omni-Tool. And if you try the door, you'll find out that it is locked. But luckily for us, we can break windows in this game by throwing items. So any item will do. This one's a little bit heavy, so it won't fly very far, so I'd recommend standing pretty close to the door when you throw it. But you could also throw this fire extinguisher or this, you know, block or whatever it is that you want to throw. And we can just jump right out the window. Careful for broken glass. And, yeah, this is one hell of a place. Where are we? Is there anybody around? How did we get here? I have so many questions. You can see here there was a big lock on this door, so you can actually unlock it from the outside. And you can open the door up. And this is the tech depot, so we're going to need to remember this location for later. So first things first, next to this break room, you'll see this panel that says data buffer available. Anytime you see one of these on the wall, you can interact with it and it will give you a bit of data, basically, usually in the form of an audio log. So let's go ahead and listen to that.
Oh, it's working better than expected. They're having a really hard time getting the doors open.
I'll perma-seal as many as you can, rather not take any chances.
Roger. Did you cut off the factory floor?
All done? Should keep most of them out. I'm on my way to lock out the comm center.
Just make sure to leave a way out of here.
Trust me, I'll get you the data safe and sound. We just need to make sure we're leaving our power running so we don't have to return.
I hear that. See you back at camp.
I do that?
So, I mean, obviously there were people here at some point. This looks like it was lived in. If it's a break room, if there's a bathroom, I mean, I would think that there would be people here. But obviously it's abandoned. Which is unfortunate, because I'd like some answers, please. That would be very nice. Nothing really of merit in here. And what's with all this stuff on the wall? This black goo. I don't want to touch it. It's probably probably not a good idea for us to get near that. Alright, well, we can try these doors, but you can see that they're padlocked, and we don't have a weapon or anything really that's gonna allow us to open those. So, although this game is about exploring and things like that, most of the time the paths are fairly linear in that they only give you one or two, you know, different places to go. So I will give the game credit and say that it's actually fairly simplistic, and you're not gonna get lost. 9 times out of 10, you'll know exactly where to go. So we can open up this door here, which appears to be the machine hangar. And it doesn't really look like a lot in here. Maybe worker robots or something. But a lot of them look like they've been disassembled. Obviously they're not in service. And that's not good. What the hell was that? And I like that you can hear Simon's heart beating when he gets scared. I love that effect. I think that is so cool. It really adds to the whole horror thing. It doesn't look like anything has moved, though. It looks like we're still kind of stuck in this area, so we'll have to explore that room a little bit more. Okay. I think one of these robots we can touch, and we can get some flashbacks from it. I think it's this one. Yeah, this little guy here.
Hey, you. Can you talk? Can you talk like the others? Why are you like this? You want some structure, Joe? Yeah, you do. So weird. Doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna shut you down now, okay? Yeah, you're creepy as hell, so I'm gonna shut you down.
Okay. I heard a noise. I'm gonna have to check it out in a minute. When you're examining things, I find that if you walk too far away from the item you examined, whether it's a robot or like a panel on the wall or a corpse or something like that, if you wander too far away, it'll automatically sort of end the clip. So it's best just to kind of stand still and listen, which is probably what I'll end up doing, just so that we don't miss anything important. After you've examined that robot and you've listened to what it has to say, you'll hear all sorts of crazy noises in the background. Simon's heart will be ready to completely jump out of his chest, and if you look to the right, you'll see that something or someone has torn a huge hole in the wall. So that's not good. And if you've played Amnesia, and if you're familiar with Amnesia at all, the leaning controls, I think, are very much the same. You can press right button if you're playing with a controller, and you can use the left stick to lean and check your surroundings. So that's a really good method to use when you are feeling like there might be something around the corner and you want to look to see if it's safe. Alright, well, I don't really have much of a choice but to follow this, even though I don't think that's the smartest thing to do, really. I don't know what happened to this place. I don't know what this is. What is this? I don't even know what that is. Is it robotics? Is it steel? I don't know. We're gonna have to figure that out, I guess. I'm sure we'll find some answers. And if we keep going, we'll find the service station, the storage, and the robot dock. So lots of machines here that I'm guessing were at some point managed by people, but still not seeing any people around here, which is a little bit concerning. Oh dear. Oh, that's not good. So the game is basically telling us, hey, you can crouch with B, and it will allow you to move around a lot more stealthily if you feel like there might be something nearby that could hear you, potentially. I'm not seeing anything. I think they just did that for, you know, the scares. Oh shit, the spooky spooks. Hello? So when you see your screen kind of go staticky like that, it usually means that you're A, close to a monster, or B, you're close to something that's important to the story, or you're going, you know, the right direction. So it seems like a bad thing, but it's actually a good indicator. So going into this storage room seems like a good idea. Let's check it out. Ah, hey, Omni Tool. Let's have a look at this. The Omni Tool is an advanced interface for accessing, managing, and controlling computerized systems, which, I mean, that makes sense. It allows us to automate routines through basic logical charts. Let's see, anything else? A short-range signal useful for basic or automated actions, such as opening doors. While performing complex operations, the Omni Tool should be physically connected to a workstation or a terminal. Alright, well, it seems pretty simple to use, giving us a little bit of instruction here. And if we remember, there was an Omni Tool terminal back in the room where we had actually started out in. So we can take that back to the terminal, and we can see if we can get it operating. And yeah, I'm gonna guess, just a guess, those were the screams of this guy or this lady or whoever this used to be, back when they had a head. Something is not right here. Obviously. Wow, Captain Obvious, right? So, I'm gonna close this door. I feel a little safer with that door being closed. And I'm gonna probably call it here, and we will hike our way back over to the room we started in. We'll make a loop of the place, and we'll try to figure out how the Omni Tool works. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope that I'll see you next time.